Welcome back. Welcome back to another Beeline to Passports. My name is Joe Batista. I'm your host. And tonight we have a special guest. She is a director, also an editor and producer. Her name is Kat Sokolich. Kat, welcome to Beeline to Passports.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for accepting the invitation. And like every week, we ask our guests how everything started. We want to know your education, where you're from, how many siblings, all that great information that people want to learn from our guests.
Okay, well, I'm from Naples, Florida originally. I was born in Arizona, moved around a lot when I was a kid, moved to Maine and Vermont, and then finally, when I turned, I believe I was 10, we moved to Florida, and I've been here for about, oh God, 13 years now. Yeah. So I'm residing in Naples, Florida. I do have an older sister named Chelsea Sokolich and a younger brother named Jacob Sokolich. And yeah, like my parents have been my biggest supporters and reason why I'm in the film industry. Like my dad, he has always been a writer, which influenced me to start writing my own stuff. And my mom's always been creative. Like she owns a gift shop, so she makes her own like shirts and mugs and little antiques like that. And my dad also does a website company as well, so he's also into like the marketing and the creative world as well. So I just kind of got, both my inspiration from them to start my own business here in Florida. So, yeah.
Super nice, super nice. Having, basically the entrepreneurship role models, like your
Hmm.
dad, your mom, and they make you to, hey, I want to do something similar, but something that I will love to be involved, like producing and directing some films and all these great things. Did you went to school to learn this beautiful industry?
Yeah, I went to Eckerd College for 2.5 years and did film studies there, and we learned about the criterias of film. Wasn't really that much of a film production course. It was more like studying the history of film, and occasionally we'd be able to make our own videos, but for the most part, it was a big studies program.
Awesome, awesome. Getting educated is important because it's very competitive industry.
Hmm.
As much knowledge you have, is better. You're gonna be head to head with big guys in this industry and big girls in the industry, and you need to show them that you can do it better. I
Hmm.
always say that when you are on this is a competition for everybody, for actors, for models, for anybody in the entertainment industry. This is a competition. You need to show that you are better than the other person in your area, because it's a big world, small world as well, because I mean every week when we have guests here on a conversation with her, oh, you work on that project? Me too. I didn't know, because on films, you work in different days, and as an actors, everybody film in different days in different locations, but it's going to the same. At the end of the project is on that film when they edit it. That's amazing. And for you being on the basically that is the southwest area of the state of Florida, how is the industry in that area? We know Miami is very hot, doing films. Orlando is getting hotter right now, because there was cold. That's the truth. We lost the incentive in the state of Florida to do film, and many of the companies decide to go to California and then now back to Georgia or Atlanta. And how is the southwest area in the film industry?
Well, I travel everywhere for film, but in terms of where I'm located, we don't really have a film industry. Like, if you live in Naples and you want to get into film, you're going to have to travel to somewhere else in Florida to do it. But it's also kind of a benefit because I feel like there's a small community here that we have of filmmakers, and it kind of
Awesome.
gives you a leg up because I'm making a feature film filmed here in Naples, and I get to work with like the Naples film commissioners and like Naples director board of tourism's. Like, I get to work with like big people here in Naples to make the film happen because it's not common that there's a film happening in Naples.
That's right, and you make you networking with these people for future plans and for future projects, most definitely.
Mhm.
And that is part of being on this industry. Make connections, networking. Being in this industry, if you don't network, it's hard to move forward in the industry. That's great. Um, and when you start doing your first project, your first film, at what age?
Oh God. So the first time I made a film project was probably I was 13, and I tried to make a feature film, but I didn't know how movies worked or how to make a movie. So it was just kind of us using a cheap little camera and running around like the community that I lived in making a horror film. It turned out really bad because I was 13 and I didn't know what I was doing. But I guess you can classify that being my first film project that I ever did.
But that helped you. You say that was bad, but that helped you because you say, hey, I don't like this. I
Hmm.
want to have something greater, and that you start. Okay, I need to educate myself. I need to start doing, learning more about this industry if I want to make it. And the age of 13. Hello, yeah, you start doing something very young, and look at you now. And we're gonna talk about during the show all this project that you've been doing, and you've been traveling around the world because you've been out of Florida doing some work, and that is amazing. Everybody need to start somewhere. It is
Hmm.
good or bad. It is good. Okay, you need to do it better. It is bad. You need to work on it and have that redone. And now that you have the experience, you get educated and you've been working in several projects. Did you thought to do, redo that film that when you were doing at the age of 13?
I kind of want to. A lot of people have asked me that question, and I've always been like, no, we're just gonna pretend it never happened and that it doesn't exist. Like, we're just gonna forget about it. But I think it would be cool to compare the two and see
Yes.
how it is. Like, I have the original script, so I think it would be cool to go through it and like edit it and make it better and then like refilm the whole thing.
Exactly, refilm. You don't have a cast, then they perform.
Mhm.
Uh, they can be around your neighborhood, or we can find some neighbors that want to donate their land to have some zombies of people, running around the lands. Most definitely will be a great thing to compare. Like you said, to compare. This is how it started, and this is how I'm doing right now. That's great. That's great. Well, Kat, let's take the first commercial break, and when we come back, we will continue learning more about your story and getting more information about the projects that you have been completed. But let's take this first commercial break, and we'll be right back with more of Kat Sokolich here in Beeline to Passports on GKI Radio. We are back. We are back from commercial break and great music. And you're listening Beeline to Passports on GKI Radio. My name is Joe Batista. I'm your host. And tonight we have a director, editor, producer, Miss Kat Sokolich. Kat, we talk about the first segment, then projects that you complete in the past. Um, then you say, well, that was my first thing at the age of 13, but we want to know in the last 2 3 years, what projects have you completed?
So, in the past 2 to 3 years, I've completed a lot of projects. Oh God, it's gonna be hard trying to remember all of them, but I did. I did a small role on a Lifetime film as a PA. That was my first big step into like the Hollywood industry. Then I got referred to being a DIT with Asylum Films on Shark Waters. That was also really cool. It was a field. It was one of the specific roles that I knew a little bit about, but I never knew I was going to be able to do it. And then they hired me to be a DIT, and it was a really good community, a big family, I would say. I've also completed a reality TV show called Awake Surgery with TLC. I did that one as well. And then I have directed my own short films called Social Distancing, which came out in 2020. It was actually a film project. We had to do it for school. It was a school project. And um, I didn't know what to make, so I made something about the pandemic because everything was locked down, and I made it into a horror movie, and that's that. Then I made another short film that I directed under Chaotic Scope. That one's about an abusive relationship and going absolutely psycho over the abusive relationship and seeking revenge. What else? I've done, and then I've traveled to different states and done like short films over there. Worked on short films there. I've done a lot of commercials and music videos. I just did a music video for Bargain Bin Heroes. Oh God, I would say almost a year ago. Called Jumping the Shark. That was really cool. That was a cool experience. Like I said, commercials. We did a commercial for Rekindled Gifts. Um, yeah. There's a lot more, but that's all I can really remember right now.
But at your young age, you have been doing a lot. Doing some music videos, but also short films and films. That's amazing. I know people that been in the industry for a while, and they can count how many have been done because they may three or four. That's it. Just laughing. But yes, that's great. That's great. And the experience, because it's not only that you've been working in Florida, also in other states, that you see also how they work on films, because
Mhm.
everybody have their own style. Some people, they're very ruthless, I can say, because being in some of the films, then the directors have been very tough, and others they've been very down to earth, and you learn from every single style to adapt to your own style as a director. Um, you mentioned then the experience doing that DTS was something amazing, and you thought that you're never gonna do it. My question here will be, why you thought that was something that maybe I can, maybe I cannot do it, but you did it. Why?
It was
Why? Why you? What was your thought in that particular time?
it was more of the question that I haven't done DIT work for like a big project like that. I've done it
Okay.
for like shorter projects. So when Asylum Films was like, "Yeah, we're looking for a DIT," and I was like, "Well, I have some experience doing this." Um, then they decided to hire me. It was kind of shocking because I was like, "Are you sure? Like, you trust me?" Because like as a DIT, you have all of the footage. So the fact that they were able to trust me to like take care of all the footage was it meant everything to me because again I've only done it for shorter projects like short films and stuff like that, never a feature film.
Wow, wow. And can you explain for our audience what DIT means? Because we have new people newer in the industry and don't understand the acronyms on the industry.
So DIT stands for Digital Imaging Technician. It's basically you take all of the cards from the camera and you back them up onto multiple like card drives. Some people will kind of color correct them and make an assembly cut. Like there's sometimes where DITs will serve as assistant editors as well. I never served as an assistant editor. I worked close with the assistant editor at the time, but I mainly just took all the footage and uploaded them on hard drives and then gave all the footage to the assistant editors.
Nice, nice. And I always bring this part, and people give the acronym meaning because people are new on the industry. For example, they listen in the show, they have the dream to become or actor, director, be involved on this. And I always said you need to get educated because information is key. More information, more knowledge that you have is better for you when you have a conversation to understand uh, the whole world of the entertainment industry. But that's great. You thought, well, I did it in small, films. This is a big one, but I do it. I'm gonna do it, and you did it. You did it, and it's amazing the work that you complete. Definitely, definitely, definitely. Now, doing the part, traveling. You did some assistant directing, traveling. How was your experience in other states?
Um, my experience with other states have been honestly amazing. Like I went to Atlanta, and Atlanta was really really cool. You got to see how they filmed stuff, but they weren't as strict as other states that I've been to. Like we went to Los Angeles to film, and when you're in Los Angeles to film, you need permits for literally every single thing, like everything. And they have all these filming laws that you have to abide by. So Los Angeles was definitely a lot more stricter in the filming than Atlanta was or DC was.
Nice, nice, and we know why. California is Hollywood, or Hollywood is California. Let's say it this way, because that's where most of the movies have been. They have the big production companies. They have the big studios over there. Uh, Perhaps very many of them decide to move to Georgia because taxes and also the restrictions that was implemented in California, and they decide to move to the state of Georgia for some reason. One of those, and I know this because I have a good friend, and his sister works with Adam Sandler. When they decide to move from California to go to Savannah. That's where they're located now, Savannah, Georgia. Uh, that was one of the reasons. That was too expensive. Taxes, the restrictions. They moved to the state of Georgia, and now they're more flexible, doing many, many, many things. And we've seen projects, recent projects from Madison, that basically is Adam Sandler company, uh,
Mhm.
traveling to other countries as well. You've seen, for example, they've been original from Puerto Rico, and they've been in Puerto Rico filming a lot, doing some projects in Puerto Rico based on the, let's say it this way, the restriction was less than doing everything from the state of California.
Yeah.
Basically, like you said, you need to film in a restaurant. Everybody in that building, not only the restaurant, need to sign a document giving the authorization that they going to film in that place. Is
Yeah.
something that the California have included. I have a good friend of mine, then his daughter. She is an actress, and there was a project to go to California, and basically to go to California as a child actor, that was a lot of paperwork included. That they, as a parents, they need to be on set at all the time.
Yeah.
In some other states, yeah, the parents are around the set, but they don't need to be on the set at all the time for some
Yeah.
restrictions that they have. But yeah, it's great information and amazing. Then you have that experience around other states. Kat, let's take another short commercial break. And when we come back, we will continue talking about your projects and what projects you are working as this moment. But let's take this short commercial break. And people, remember to drop a comment or question you would like to hear them answer on this show. The number is 407-476-9059. Remember to say my name, follow it by your name and your question or comment. And you could also hear it here in Beeline to Passports on GKI Radio. We are back. We are back from commercial break. Great music. You listening GKI Radio. My name is Joe Batista. I'm your host on Beeline to Passports. And tonight we have a producer, editor, and director. Her name is Kat Sokolich. Kat, we talk about projects in different states. We talk about projects that you have been involved also here in Florida, but we want to know what you're doing right now, what projects you are working as we talk.
Okay, so I have a TV show called Collateral Interest. I can't give out too much information on that TV show, but it's basically kind of like Narcos and Ozark came together. That's kind of the theme that we're giving off in our TV show. I will post the teaser trailer on my social medias again for people who haven't seen it. And you can get some information off of the teaser trailer. I recently just got hired under Agapon Films as an executive assistant. So I'm working very close with Yal Agapon and Jeff Youngs. I'm also working on, I have 3 films. Two I have already written and is in pre-production, and then I have one called Lily of the Valley, which is now in post-production. Those are all films that I directed on the TV show. I assistant directed. So those are the 4 big projects that is kind of like going on right now. And then obviously I have a feature film that I want to make sometime down the line called No ID. It's based on a true life story about what happened with my brother. Um, yeah, so those are kind of the projects that we're going into on this year. Lily of the Valley is about losing a family member and trying to grieve with it. So that's going to be really, really interesting to see because it's a silent film. There's no dialogue. It's only going to be post-production sound and a score to carry out the film and the emotions. Our actor was amazing portraying the emotions without having to speak, which I'm really excited for. So I'm excited for everybody to see Lily of the Valley. I just recently released a music video called Overdose by Fiddler. I really, really like that music video. It's about drug awareness and drug addiction awareness. So yeah, those are some of the projects that I have completed or am starting to complete.
A lot on your plate, definitely a lot on your
Yes.
plate. And for the people, she have her own film company. Is the name is Catastrophic, um, and it's not that it's gonna be bad. It's catastrophic because part of her name.
Yep.
And Catastrophic Films, she is basically the owner of this business, and she's been doing amazing. She's been doing a lot of projects. Yeah, like she said, music videos, short film, feature film, TV series. She's busy. That is important. That is important. When you're not busy, I'm gonna say it, like I talk to myself, I get bored because when you're not doing something that you love, you get like, okay, I can continue doing this. I need to find something to do, most definitely, and start working on projects and involved in projects in different areas. Like myself, I've been in front of the camera, behind the camera, um, in different projects here in the Central Florida area, in South Florida, the Jacksonville area, because it's not, I get bored. I get bored. All right. And some of these films, you did it here in the US, or you travel to any other country to do some of these projects?
So for collateral interest, we kicked off the season in Miami, Florida. I wasn't a part for episode one filming. I was brought in during episode two. Episode two, we filmed it in Atlanta, Georgia. And then we had about a month or so off, and then we all had to travel to the Dominican Republic. And we filmed episode three in the Dominican Republic. And right after we were done filming episode three, it was very, very fast. Like, we got on a plane to go to the Dominican Republic, and then after that, we jumped on a plane to go to DC to film episode four. And then we had to jump on another plane and go to Los Angeles to finish off the rest of the season. So we were just back and forth with traveling, like not even like state to state, but out of the country and back. It was crazy, but it was the funnest experience I ever went through.
Basically, you're living your dream, because that
Yes.
is the dream of anybody working on the industry. Then they, okay, I'm gonna go to this country, I'm gonna go to this state, I jump to this other state. I have friends, then they've been working in the Middle East, uh, going, flying there, spend several months, and they come back to the US and then jump in another plane and go to the Caribbean and work in the Caribbean for several weeks, and they come back to the US. And that is a dream. Doing this, because it's not that you get paid on this project, it's also that you learn about other cultures, you're
Yeah.
learning about other cultures, and it's not because I like to eat. You eat food from another countries. That is something that is part of getting the culture, the 360 degree culture in every travel. That's
Hmm.
awesome. That's awesome. Um, in this project that you're looking to do, have you been, thinking, okay, I went to this country, I went to this state, I might go to this state, except California. Then it's easier to do some film, because there was the set was great, the location was great, and say, hey, I can use this area for a future project.
So Out of all the states that I've been to, I definitely want to go back to Georgia to film. I would love to film something in Georgia. And another big dream of mine is to film my own film in California. I know California is not the best to film at, but I love California and I think it'd be really cool. But if I had to choose between California and Georgia, I would choose going back to Georgia because the scenery there is just gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Amazing, amazing. And it's right now, you mentioned Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic have right now is very hot on films. They have many, many films that has been going over there. Also because the government, Dominican Republic government, provide incentive, because you're using crew from there and also some of the cast. That's basically the rule that they have. You need to use the crew, a part of the crew, and part of the cast from the country, and they give you some incentive. To give you an example, Puerto Rico right now, we go to Wakanda Forever. Wakanda Forever, the Black Panther, there was many of the scenes that you see in the island, the ocean, that was done in Puerto Rico, because some of the incentive that the government decide to bring, we this is direct for the governor, our governor, state of Florida. Listen to this. You need to bring back the incentive. They have other states and other, some countries, then they providing this incentive, and they helping the film industry to grow and to have more and more and more projects coming. Because it's not only when you think about the film industry, you need to think, hey, this is also tourism. These people, they never been in that place. They bring in their money, and these people, they gonna buy food, souvenirs, etc., etc., etc. That is this. You heard that, Mr. Governor? But yes, most definitely, this is a part of on the industry. Then going to different countries. Plus, for example, Cuba is hard to do any film over there because the situation that they have in the country. But going to Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico, they have similar structure in the capital. For example, San Juan, or in Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic, you see all these forts and all these military forts that they were part of the war, etc. You can film there, and you can say that was Cuba. It's been done many, many, many times. Uh, Island, the Fantasy Island, with Miss Rosalind Sanchez, that has been filmed in Puerto Rico as well, and that is in Hulu, and also in the network. Uh, is being filmed over there because the tradition, the original Fantasy Island was done in Hawaii, because there was a beautiful, but Hawaii, we know, is very expensive. People,
Mm-hmm.
California. That's why the people, they travel to other countries, and they basically change the name of the country on the film, but it's been done in another countries. Let's take another short commercial break, and we will be back with more of your story because we want to hear your IMDb, your social media. We want to hear also, future projects and all these great things that you have. But let's take this short commercial break, and people remember that this is Beeline to Passports on the fourth season, finishing the fourth season. But very soon you're gonna hear. Then we're coming back with the fifth season for Be Line to Passports here on GKI Radio. And thank you for being with us, learning about Miss Kat Sokolich story here in Be Line to Passports on GKI Radio. We'll be right back. We are back. We are back from commercial break and great music. You're listening Beeline to Passports. My name is Joe Batista and your host. I'm your host, and you're listening GKI Radio. And tonight we have a director, also editor and producer, Miss Kat Sokolich. Kat, we talk about the project that you have been completed, but also we want to know now projects that you want to work in the next year and 5 years from now, or your plans, your social media, and your IMDb.
So the biggest project that I have for the future is my feature film called No ID. I'm not sure when I'm going to set out to film that yet, but it's budgeted at $1.5 million, so it's a big budget film. I mean, it's not that big of a budget, but it's pretty big as in terms of like films that I've worked on with that type of budget. I'm gonna have a co-director on that film. My co-director is gonna be Yal Agapong, so him and I are gonna get back together and make a killer film. So I'm super excited with that. But that's gonna be the biggest one that I'm planning on to for the future. Also, we have some insight about some streaming services wanting to pick up collateral interest, so we're gonna see that coming in the future, and hopefully an Emmys award will be in our future as well. Some links to my social media for my private accounts. For me personally, would be Kat Sokolich Official on Instagram, or if you want my business account, it's Catastrophic Films LLC. On Facebook, it's just Caitlin Sokolich. On Facebook, for my business, it's Catastrophic Films LLC. And you can find my videos and my film projects on YouTube under Catastrophic Films or Vimeo under Catastrophic Films.
Wow, a lot of great information there because a budget 1.5, like you said, it's not big, but it's big
Mm-hmm.
because when we talk about big budget, we're talking about 300, 500 million dollars or bigger than that. uh but you are ready for that because you've been proving yourself that I can do this. Now I need to move to getting more and more, and that also help you to bring more quality.
Mm-hmm.
Money in this industry help you to bring quality because quality on the actors that are going to participate, but also quality on the equipment that you're going to use. That is some of the requirements for many of the streaming companies like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, that you need to have a different, um, we call it different cameras. Most of the
Mm-hmm.
time, it's 6K, minimum 4K to have that done. On the audio, they need to have this kind of audio, all the things, the lights, and they are requirements, and they put there. If you fit there on that, they will accept your projects and buy your projects because the investment 1.5 they can turn to a $3 million revenue
Mm-hmm.
uh, because the investment was done properly with equipment, the cast, the crew on this project. Definitely. And what is your IMDb?
My IMDb is also under Kat Sokolich.
Perfect, perfect. You heard that? Uh, heard the all the social media, personal, and also for catastrophic films, and the IMDb that you can search for her projects, everything that she has been done, and future projects. Then she want to achieve. And Kat, any final thoughts before we finish our show today?
No, you covered almost everything. Everything was perfect. I loved being on here today, and I look forward to seeing a lot of new people who are going to follow me and come along with the ride on my film journey.
Most definitely. Well, Kat, has been a pleasure having you on the show. And this is basically how we finish our fourth season with this beautiful person, Kat Sokolich, and all her projects and this energy, then basically you need to follow her, and you need to start looking for the projects then she's gonna be completing, because this person here, Kat Sokolich, is a racing star, and you will hear her name on many, many, many awards in the future. Again, thank you for accepting the invitation to be in Beeline to Passports, and looking forward to all these great projects, and anything that we can collaborate, let us know. Then we are here, open to work with any of the talents then has been given the time to be in our show.
Yeah, of course. I love collaborating with everybody. So the more people I can collaborate with, the better everything turns out to be. And yeah, I just love meeting new people and helping them market and build up their career. Yeah, we've all been nobodies at some point, and we all want to be somebody. So we're all on the same ride.
That's correct. That's correct. Well, thank you so much, Kat. And people, thank you for being with us in another Beeline to Passports. And remember, be a leader, rock the world, inspires others with your emotions in control. Good night.